Hello, folks. Hello, everyone. You're welcome once more to the JMA Connection, where the news breaks. I'm delighted to be here with everyone again this evening. This is still a Tuesday, the 18th of November 2025. And of course, this is the late evening edition. You should be accustomed nowadays that we'll usually be having the late evening edition, which enables us to go through some of the things that happened during the day and project into the things that are likely going to be happening the next day, or things that are showing signs of either aggravating or abetting the situation back home. That said, very quickly, I want to point out that, of course, you are aware that there is some, a new front of tension that is rising in Yaoundé right now, and that new front has to do more with the current Biya government. In my last broadcast, I indicated, my last two broadcasts very clearly, I indicated that Mr. Paul Biya and his gang might have stolen the election, but the biggest problem they have on their hands is sharing the booty. And this is where it really gets dicey. Dicey because at this point in time, no one at all actually trusts that Biya is capable of taking any decision of his own volition. And so right now the suspicion has generally been that, for a long time, that has been the Secretary General at the presidency and Chantal Biya who are conducting the affairs, because even to meet Mr. Paul Biya is very complicated. If you will recall, Issa Chiruma Bakari, who is referred to currently as the president-elect, or who is the president-elect of the Republic of Cameroon at this point in time, gave a clear justification that though he had promised to accompany Mr. Paul Biya throughout until the time when he will say, okay, I have stopped. By working together with him in his government following an agreement they had had, he was forced to rupture that agreement because he made a lot of frantic efforts, because he made I should say, made frantic efforts to meet Mr. Paul Biya to discuss the situation of the country, to discuss, the projects that were, stagnating, to discuss, the health, the general health of the politics of the country. But unfortunately, he never had the opportunity to meet with Paul Biya. That he did everything, and each time he was blocked by the Secretary General and, of course, the First Lady. So he actually said that a lot of the members of government do not have access to Paul Biya, don't even know, at times wherever he is, whether he's at the presidency in Yaoundé, that's at the Unity Palace, or he is in his village in Vomeka. And so, as a result of all of that, he decided to, step out. So you now notice that that sentiment was not shared, was not held only by Issa Chiruma Bakari. Even Bello Buba Maigari mentioned certain things like that when he also declared his candidature and resigned from the Biya government. But I have heard Laurent Esso, in very private settings that I've received information about, say very clearly that what he knew was that a lot of the decisions coming out of the presidency under the so-called code haute instruction had nothing to do with haute instruction. So there has been total open disregard for a lot of the decisions coming out of the presidency of the republic in recent times, and especially now after the presidential election. And we all saw Mr. Paul Biya's hot microphone moment at the National Assembly during his swearing-in ceremony. So today it came to pass that Mr. Ngale Bibehe Messina, the Minister of Transport, went to the airport. He wanted to travel and claimed he was traveling to Senegal, to Dakar. And only at the airport, he was told that he could not go out of the country. Now, this is something that we need to point out first. You recall, Issa Chiruma Bakari had gone to the airport to travel to the same Senegal, to Dakar, and was told he could not travel, although he was already a former minister. But what he did not do, or what he also, was somewhat not very forthcoming about, was that he definitely knew that as former minister, you have, a few more months to continue to be, answerable to the system until that time when you are totally, allowed to become, a private citizen. And so when you just leave government for the first few months, you have to obtain prior authorization before leaving the country. Of course, Isa Chiruma Bakari definitely knew that, but thought that he could defy the system because the system was already collapsing. But for Ngale Bibe Messina, Minister of Transport, a sitting minister, he ought to know that even if he wanted to travel from Yaoundé to Douala, from Yaoundé to Douala, he must obtain authorization from the Prime Minister, head of government. He must notify the Prime Minister, head of government, that that he's leaving Yaoundé. And I'll talk less of wanting to travel out of the country. Was it a private mission? Was it an official mission? And again, recall in one of my broadcasts here, I think the last but one, when I pointed out that there is currently no government in Cameroon. That means that Mr. Ngale Bibe Messina certainly told himself that, oh, okay, right now, since things are really unclear, I could just go my way, I could just walk out and walk in the way I want. But he definitely had forgotten one thing. Mr. Paul Biya's mode of operation has not changed. It had never changed. Each time there's been an election and Mr. Paul Biya is about to form a new government, you know what happens? No member of government, no member of government is generally allowed to travel out of the country. None. You can't travel until that new government has been formed, until they must have done what they want to do with whoever has been dropped from the government. Because usually a lot of horrible things are done within the government. And so whenever there's a government change, at times, as soon as it changed the government, some of the people that are dropped from the government are either put under house arrest for a period of time, and then after some considerations, they just decide to, lose things off, ease things off, or sometimes they actually end up being arrested on charges of embezzlement of state funds and all of those things. Now, you heard Mr. Paul Biya in his inaugural ceremony, or during his swearing in ceremony, he said clearly among his priorities was still going to be the fight against the mismanagement and embezzlement of state funds. So this tells you that Mr. Paul Biya traditionally, of course, and his team, they are aware of this, will usually sacrifice some people, some members of government, when there is tension around in the country, to try and defray. You understand what I'm saying? To try and switch attention, defray attention from the very fact that the election has been stolen, there's disgruntlement, people are protesting and all of those things. So he will try to distract people's attention, take people's attention away from protests about election banditry and all of those things, and so that people focus on the people who are just being arrested, and the entire press will fall into that trap and focus on, oh, the president is now determined, he's going to clean up the system, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. So there are always sacrificial lambs. So who will be the sacrificial lamb? No one knows. And so generally, nobody moves. Nobody is allowed to move. So even if he is vegetable, those who operate the system know that that is the approach. So it definitely, should have been, should I say, an oversight on the side of Mr. Ngale Bibe Messina, who carried himself to the airport that he was going to travel out of the country. Currently, they have allowed members of government to travel to the regions simply because they are already in the process of confirming another rigged electoral exercise, something called election into the regional assemblies. So that is why ministers were allowed to move. I know they are really itchy, they are worried because this far there was already supposed to be a new government. That new government is not coming because of the serious infighting. You have heard about talks of a possible military takeover. Don't discount that at this time. If I go by the conversations I've had with people within Yaoundé, it's almost dawning on the people that there may not be a new government. Not today, not tomorrow, maybe not even by the end of this year. Because the level of infighting is unacceptable, is unbearable. And because right now, no one is agreeing on who will be the one to come and deliver a consensus list that this is the government that has been formed and approved by Mr. Paul Biya. Who will be trusted? This is the problem. And all of the people are in the know that Mr. Paul Biya is no longer there. And so it's a very, very hot potato in the hands of the system in Yaoundé. I fear that the people will get up some morning and hear something else, something completely different. Because even with the tensions mounting, with the pressure coming in from Issa Chiruma Bakari, who is also, still determined to assert his position as president-elect of the country, I bet you it's going it's not looking interesting in Yaoundé. I bet you it's not looking interesting, not at all. Do not forget, I had pointed out that there are some members of government who are seriously suspected of being key sponsors and key supporters of Issa Chiruma Bakari. And I said, for good reason, because there are quite some members of government who support Issa Chiruma Bakari in the night, and during the day they sing Paul Biya, in ways that you have never imagined, because nobody is certain about what is going to happen the next day. And I want to tell you this again about the situation of Alice Nkom. Alice Nkom may well be under house arrest. That is Issa Chiruma's newly appointed spokesperson. She might well be under house arrest. I say house arrest because her home is still surrounded by Mr. Paul Biya's security forces. Now, she may well be under house arrest, but moving to arrest her may become very complicated because of disagreement within the government in Yaoundé. I'm assuring you. Because there are people within the government in Yaoundé who have already said a loud no, she cannot be arrested. I got that piece of information late this evening. There are people in the government who have said, do anything around there, do whatever you can, but don't dare touch that woman. Oh gosh. A system that is divided, against itself, that is divided within itself, cannot stand. It's really, really interesting what is going on. And so you should pay careful attention. Those members of government today are literally prisoners. They can't go anywhere until that new government is formed. They can't go anywhere. I was told that even medical evacuations may not be allowed. So if you are a member of government, you happen to want to be sick right now in Cameroon, you are likely on your own. So this is something that is very teasy and very interesting. And that's why I keep saying that there is still a lot of tension in Yaoundé. That's why I keep saying that the people might have stolen those elections, but they are likely not going to have quiet enjoyment. We will have to continue watching what is going on. We'll have to continue paying serious attention to what is going on. And at the same time, I like to let the people of the Southern Cameroons know that at any moment they may find it difficult to get back into the territory if something untoward happens in La République du Cameroun. If you are a son and daughter of the Southern Cameroons and you have been thinking that you want to relocate, make hay where the sun shines. Because while the things that are going on in Yaoundé are going on in Yaoundé, there's a lot of work going on the Southern Cameroon side. A lot of work going on the Southern Cameroon side. People are vigilant. The key actors are watching very keenly, working on their strategies to respond, refining, fine-tuning this strategy. And so you should make hay while the sun shines. If you're planning to relocate while it is still possible for you to move. So I'd like to thank everyone who had the opportunity to, or who spared some time to be part of this broadcast. If you are not yet subscribed to the JMA Connections, do so that you will continue to be the first to know. And of course, share the link and share as much as possible so we continue to reach as many people as possible. Have a wonderful moment. Thank you for your kind attention.